Hey everybody, welcome to
guys.
another WIP Wednesday. It's been a long time. We've been on hiatus for a few months now because we just moved to a new apartment.
As you may have noticed, we have a slightly different backdrop.
Yeah, we have a bit of a different setup now.
Gone much lighter as opposed to our
Yeah, and it's definitely like
blackout.
almost literally night and day to what we were doing before.
But yeah, so much different now in this new place. It's
Yeah,
been
and as
a
you can
while.
see, we have like much better lighting right now where we're at right now. This is actually not going to be our final studio setup, but the studio is a bit of a mess right now, and we can't really get internet in there. I kind of went on a little like research binge on looking up different flower tutorials, and the reason why I made these is because I didn't really like the design. It was like hard to find a flower design that I thought looked enough like a flower, but at the same time wasn't super overly complicated, I guess.
Right.
So I was kind of trying to find a middle ground there.
Right.
So
Good balance between looks good
yeah.
and simplicity.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the design of the rose itself. I think these came out really, really nice. They have like a lot of dimension to them, and you can see very clearly the rose like shape. And I love how the petals are in between all of the petals from the previous row of petals. Here is that other style of rose, and it looks okay. It's like really dense with the petals, but the thing that I don't like about it is that a lot of the petals end up in the same spot, like they're not in between the other row of petals most of the time.
It's a little too blocky.
Yeah,
or too
it almost
chunky.
like just feels a bit messy to me, and the reason for that is because it's made this way. It's like a ribbon tape that you just roll up and it turns into this rose, which is a really smart technique. I just didn't really like the final look for what I was trying to do. And then the other thing that I don't like about this particular technique is how lacy it is at the bottom. So the bottoms of the petals don't really look like petals. They just look kind of lacy and open. So that's the other thing that I tried to do, where like the entire petal is like kind of covered up, and any space that's open and lacy is going to be covered up by these leaves.
And also, rolled up, it kind of seems a little blocky at the bottom too. It's like,
yeah, it's a lot thicker toward the bottom.
Like a big fat base to it.
Yeah. Yeah,
for blossom would normally taper back down.
Yeah, that's the other reason why I do like it, because it's kind of like the way that it's worked is like the base is on the previous row of petals, so it makes a lot less bulk. So here is another lighter pink one. This one's the one that I haven't quite finished with yet. You can still see the wire that's supporting all of the leaves. This is the one that I actually made for the tutorial, so if you check out the tutorial or the written pattern as well, that's available in my Ravelry store. So if you want to check that out, this is the one that I made for that video, and I made it with cherry red and hunter green from Red Heart. So there's all of those, and then I also have my little tiny yellow one. This one I actually made with one layer fewer of petals. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's a lot less dense with petals than the other one.
Looks good though. It just looks like I know. It just looks like a smaller rose.
But yeah, like you can. That's the other thing that I do like about this technique, is that you can just keep adding rows and rows and rows of petals, like kind of for as long as you want a little bit. Right. Where a lot of other patterns, like this particular ribbon one, a lot of them you have to start with a chain that's however long it's going to be, and you can't really add more to it later. You have to know exactly how many petals,
and then you can only roll up a ribbon on itself and have it look like a flower until
for such a point. Yeah, it does look nicer if you use a thinner yarn. This is a Aran weight yarn,
true, yeah.
So if I use something more like a crochet lace weight yarn, that would look a lot nicer, and it would look more realistic. Although I do think that would also be true of this technique, but you can kind of take it farther, I guess. Right. So like I think that you can
bulk up as much.
Yeah, it doesn't bulk up nearly
like
as
you
much.
Get more detail.
Not that it's like bad or anything, is that every single petal is exactly the same size. So all of the petals on the inside and the outside are exactly the same, where with this one you can clearly see that the petals at the outside are the biggest and the ones at the inside are the smallest. So I don't like the way that it looks when all the petals are exactly the same size. So that was another thing that just kind of bugged me about this technique of making the flower. Like you kind of have to like trick yourself into thinking that it's smaller by kind of folding the petals in just such a way so that they're like, and then you have to be really careful about where you're like lining them up so that they end up, because see how it wants to like layer right on top of the petal from the previous row.
Where naturally it's going to want to pop up in the windows. And
oh yeah, and this background is also another WIP, just by the way. This is going to be curtains. I haven't finished them yet. hence why they're WIPs. But as you can see, I've got some purple zigzag stitches going here, and I'm going to eventually work crochet onto that. So that's the first step for my crochet curtains trim technique that I have. And this is going to go all the way around the entire curtains, so it's going to take me a while just to do the zigzag foundation. But yeah, that's another tutorial that I do have on the channel. I think it's how to make a curtain from a tapestry or a sheet.
Yeah, that was one you put out a while
Yeah,
ago.
that's an old tutorial, so if you want to suffer through the bad audio quality, you can check that out. But if not, I might redo that tutorial eventually because it was a pretty cool technique, and I have gotten better at zigzag stitching because when I did that tutorial, I did not know how to zigzag stitch at all, and I kind of did like something that was not a zigzag stitch.
Right, kind of just made it work.
So if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you might have seen this before. This is my skull mask that I made like a long time ago. If you're interested in this, you can find the pattern on Ravelry as well. But it just kind of hit me the other day that I could just stick the lenses into the eyes of the skull mask.
Yeah.
And so I actually like punched a bunch of little holes. I'm not sure if you can see the holes or not. Like you might be able to.
4 pinholes.
Yeah, there's a pinhole in each side, and I was thinking of showing you guys how to do that because it like makes a huge difference to this. This one's kind of my size, not your size. I think I have yours somewhere else.
Right.
But if I just stick this in there, that like makes such a big difference to the aesthetic of the mask. And I think that I can probably like just sew those lenses in there, and then it will like black out the eyes and make it a much nicer mask. So.
And then it's just got shades.
Yeah, and then it would just be more functional, I guess.
Works great. And that's another thing. It's like I love how this skull mask turned out, but I think that there's such an opportunity to make a bunch of different kinds of masks, and I'm not really sure what styles would be good other than this obvious really cool skull beanie.
That's true.
But if you guys have any comments or suggestions on
for sure,
really neat like cover up your face skull beanie masks like this, like send them in or send a comment, because it'd just be interesting to hear other people's ideas on what they think would look cool.
Yeah, definitely. So as you guys might have also seen on my channel before, I have a tutorial and pattern for a realistic doll body. So I've been working on one here in this white color because I'm going to try to make it into a bunny girl. And I think I'm going to make her wearing like the classic like leotard and bow tie little little costume, because I don't know, I've just wanted to make one for a really long time, and I have done a lot of like ears and
super
like
classic iconic look.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of like ear tutorials and stuff like that, and I do have somewhere floating around a pair of bunny ears that will fit on her, but I looked for it all day and I couldn't find it. So hopefully next time you guys will see this will be a cute bunny girl in a leotard and bow tie. I've talked to you guys in the past about doing different like body types of doll that are in that same style, and I've shown you guys a couple of other ones before, but this one I have not shown you yet.
Alright.
But it's a little bit weird looking because I have not finished it yet, so be warned. But her eyes are a little scary because I have not given her any irises yet. And also she does have a nose, which you might notice is a bit different for me. I was just doing it to experiment. But this doll, I'm not sure if you can really tell just from the camera, but she is the same exact dimensions as a Barbie doll. So I've been trying to work on a technique that is the exact same technique as my other doll pattern, but in the shape and size of a Barbie doll.
Right.
So as you can actually see, she is capable of wearing Barbie's shoes. That is one Barbie shoe on one of her feet.
Got a Barbie doll and
Yeah.
Took her shoes?
Yeah, I did. Well, she's wearing one of them still, actually. Okay. So that's why she's only got the one. Right, yeah, they're sharing. But, one of my big goals was to try to make it so that she could wear the shoes. I haven't finished the other toe yet. You can still see a little tiny bit of wire poking out.
It's Terminator Barbie.
But, and also I haven't done her hands yet. I'm debating whether or not I want to give her fingers, but, it would be really hard, obviously, because she's so small. She has all the same dimensions as a Barbie doll, though, so she fits into all of Barbie's clothes.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool idea, just to be able to have a bunch of lost Barbie clothes that you can then fit onto.
So yeah, hopefully I will be able to write this pattern up and you can make a Barbie-sized doll using the exact same technique from my other doll body pattern, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if you have been following for a while and you've watched many of my videos, you may have noticed one that's kind of more one of a popular one is my mermaid tutorial.
Right.
So these are kind of the same technique from my mermaid tutorial. As you can see, they are all half of a body. But instead of making them into a mermaid, this time, let me show you guys this on the bigger camera. So this is what I've got so far. I don't think I've posted this anywhere, not even on Instagram or anything. Oh yeah, and side note, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I have been posting a lot of photos recently, and I do post some pictures of my whips and updates before I post them here.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see like photos of whips before they come on a WIP Wednesday, then you might want to check out my Instagram. So all of those girls that I just showed you that are laying out on the table right now in half, they're all eventually going to be more centaur girls. I've done her hair in this little braid, and her tail kind of matches her hair, not exactly.
There's some highlights.
Yeah, there's some
hair,
highlight.
right?
Yeah, because for her tail, I actually used this color and this color for her hair on her head, I used both of these colors to make her hair, so you can see there's like highlights of the tail color, and the main color is the same color as the body. And I gave her these little white socks on all but one foot. But yeah, I just love how this, like,
the articulation.
I love,
really nice.
yeah, I love how the shape of it is. So I've remade this pattern so many times, and I've tried to film it so many times, and things just keep happening that make me stop being able to work on this pattern and tutorial. And then once I get back to it, it's like, no, I can't post that.
Right.
That is not good enough anymore.
And then you'll just have to.
And then I have to
scrap
start
it
over
and
again.
back
Yeah,
to-
exactly.
back
This
to
has
the
happened
drawing
like 3 or
board.
4 times. But you guys might have seen my old ponyta that I made. Here is the middle ponyta that I made, and this one's still pretty nice, but as you can see, the legs are like a lot stumpier and big
a bit
and chubby. Yeah, like, and aside from that, it's like pretty nice. So let me show you guys, and this isn't going to be a ponyta. I haven't made the ponyta yet. Ponyta's head is right here. So the ponyta that I'm making in this new technique has not been made yet. It's about to be, but I did make a regular horse in this style. So here's that, and just like hold that up so that you can compare, like, look at this, the shape and the size comparison is like, it's so different. And like, I guess this is like, I feel like this is like a really cute, like almost like baby toy kind of aesthetic.
Right.
And I still like it, and I think it's
Yes.
really cute.
It's fun to grab
But
onto.
I love how much more like realistically the legs are shaped with this other technique. So I'm pretty excited about it. And also I just really like how this smoky horse hair came out. It's like if Ponyta was a smoke Pokemon, it looked like.
Whoa.
I know, right? I just really like how the ankle and the knee look, especially on the back leg. This one doesn't have any articulations, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute the way that the skeleton that I make for these looks, because I do have a couple of skeletons sitting here next to me. This one doesn't have a skeleton though, so it doesn't have any like articulation ability, but even without the skeleton, like, it still works pretty well. Like, it is capable of like standing up on its own like perfectly well. This is the tutorial that I'm currently working on, but it might take a while because, as you can tell, this is a pretty complex project.
Right.
You can kind of see it here. I'll show it to you a little closer on the camera in a minute, but it has this rough shape. And this, I believe I wrapped the wire 6 or 8 times, something like that, just to like layer it so that it's a lot thicker. And that's able to like push against the fabric and be able to hold all of these positions. And if you want to see how I make my wire skeletons, I have a tutorial for that as well. For that one though, I do make it for my just regular doll body, so it is going to look more like just a regular doll body.
Right.
When I do the horse tutorial, I'll show you guys how to do this particular shape of skeleton. It has like a lot of strength and spring if you shape it like this, so it has a lot more like I guess it has a lot more like bendability kind of, and then it like holds its structure really well.
Right.
So I do like using this particular shape for the horse bodies. Here, go ahead and grab this.
It's so good too because it just looks like a stick figure, but with like an extra little piece.
Yeah,
out the
yeah.
back.
It's like a stick figure, but with like a big tail. But yeah, it's kind of like a double stick figure. Like you can kind of see it's just like it's like.
Oh, it's waiting to be Goro.
So yeah, this is the part that is for the human body. That's just a stick figure, and then it divides into the legs here, and then off of the leg there's just this tail section that turns into these two back legs. And these I didn't actually do the leg bend yet in them, so you can see these are just straight legs compared to this one's bent spot. So let me just do that right now, and you can see how much shorter that makes the leg too.
More spring into it.
Yeah, it has a lot more spring, so it's going to be able to hold more realistic positions. So this, I'm going to eventually add more of the flames to the head and make that into another pony top. So then I'll have 3 different stages of it to show you guys, and then you can see how I've improved. I gave it a little pink nose, and I haven't given it its eyes or its ears or legs yet, but I really like the color of this one. So I'm pretty excited about it. As you can probably tell, the color changes are kind of rough on this one, but I just love the way that it is turning out because it's so cute. And I'm pretty excited to see what it looks like when it's fully completed.
Yeah, once it gets fully finished, it's gonna look real nice.
And the tail is going to be in a completely different style, so that'll be fun to try to work out how to do.
Yeah, all those color changes is just so... You should just do like a basic theory to it, because all zebras are different.
Yeah, that's true, because I mean, like, I didn't really there's no real method to it other than the fact that I'm just not putting blocks of too much of the same color in one spot, and I'm trying to keep it more just like smooth lines instead of like choppy zigzaggy lines. I'm trying to just make it like straight smooth lines, but really you can make it however you want, and just as long as you try to keep it so that the lines are flowing this way on the face on either side and kind of flowing out from the back, like from the middle down the sides. Like that's kind of the only real method to it that I use.
The only guiding tool you're kind of going by. Get the horse pattern down real well, and then good luck.
Yeah, serious.
But,
so thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
we're going to be back in a couple of weeks for the next one.
Yeah, now that we finally got
now
our
we
place
have a good
up,
enough setup that we can actually regularly stream again.
Try and put up more regular content, and eventually we'll get our studio completely set up. Hopefully we'll be putting up some videos or showing stuff on getting the studio all set up and everything.
Hopefully we can do some studio videos.
For the moment, welcome to our living room. Thank you so much for the people on our Patreon. Donating money,
serious.
Especially in this transitional period right now. It's been so...
Yeah, and I know I haven't really been posting as much for you guys, so sorry about that. But I hope that you guys are understanding, just because we've been moving and everything.
Thank you so much.
So
yeah,
I'm so grateful that you guys are still keeping up with the channel and following my posts and watching the new tutorials that I'm putting out. I really appreciate you guys that do follow. And also on that note, if you guys want to make sure that you're seeing every single video that I do upload, because I know sometimes there's issues of people literally just not even being shown and stuff, make sure that you click on the bell that's underneath the videos next to the subscribe button, and that'll make sure that you guys get notified every time that I post.
Right.
So, thanks so much for watching, you guys, and we're going to be back in a couple of weeks, and we'll see you guys on that occasion.
On the next WIP Wednesday.
So, bye, you guys.
Until then, guys. Bye.